Morning to everybody on this great day. It's the first working day for 2015. So it gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to this symbolic tree planting ceremony, which is being organized by the Ministry of Environment, National Emergency Center and Beach Authority in collaboration with the Ministry of Agro-Industry and Food Security, of course, with the support of the SSR Botanical Garden Trust. So thank you once again for having here, as I said, on the very first working day of this new year. In making our resolutions for this new year, we will take stock of all efforts being made for the protection of our environment, and more especially of our very fragile ecosystem. And briefly I will say, because we have several speakers who will be talking about that, so we have been carrying out a lot of activities in the context of clean and green Mauritius, enrichment of public sites, cleaning of public sites as well, and promotion of different other activities for the protection of the environment. And with the coming of the new minister, we are glad to know that we will continue with these activities. In fact, we will redouble our efforts and work relentlessly with more commitment for a cleaner, greener, and safer Mauritius. This is the new motto of the minister. I'm sure he will talk about that. So he's adding a new dimension of safer Mauritius as well. And I think everybody will be happy. We want to have a place which is secure. And for the protection of our environment, I said we have been doing so many activities. And as I said earlier, everybody's concerned. In fact, all experts talk about very simple actions. When you talk of protecting the environment, every simple and single action counts. And if you take all those actions together, it makes a big difference. Coming to the tree plantation program itself, quickly I would say, in fact, we started this program at the Ministry of Environment last year. It comes under the one of the budget measures, and the target was to plant 50,000 trees in 2014, and the target for 2015 is 150,000 trees. But just to say that, very good, on a good note, that we have reached 80,000 trees in year 2014. I would like here sincerely to thank everybody involved in this program, especially the officers of the ministry. We have put in a lot of efforts. The Ministry of Agriculture, especially the Forestry Department, because they have been together with us. I'm sure they will continue on this path. So, as I said, we have reached that target, and we hope that for this year's target, we'll definitely meet and we'll go beyond that. I would like to add that so far we have had very good support from all quarters. In the morning I was checking my papers. We have more than, I would say, 150 organizations. So we have local authorities, Scouts movement, many colleges, and a lot of organizations. Up to now, I think I will not name all of them, but it's a long list. I'm sure others will join in. So that's why we are having this, I said, very symbolical activity here at this historical place, I would say. And we are starting with the planting of one tree. I'm sure the minister will be talking about why one tree and which tree and what. And I think everybody knows what's the importance of trees. The trees, they are very important for our ecosystem. So I hope that for this year we'll continue on this line of action, very forcefully, I would say, and we'll get support of everybody. And once again, I would like to thank all organizations, individuals concerned in this campaign. It's a national tree planting campaign, and it's at the concern of everybody. So we hope that for 2015 we'll get the full support. So with these words, I would like to once again thank you for your presence. I wish you well for 2015. Now I have the honor and privilege to call upon the Honorable Minister of Labour, Mr. Sudesh Kalisharan, to address the audience. Honorable Minister.
Honorable Jaishwar Raj Dayal, Minister of Environment, National Emergency Center and Beach Authority. Honorable Mahen Kumar Siratan, Minister of Agro-Industry and Food Security. Honorable Shah Ranan Rankon, distinguished guests, I welcome you all today for the tree planting for clean air campaign, which is I should emphasize, an ongoing campaign started by the previous government in 2014. I'm glad to say that so far 87 trees have already been planted island-wide. The budget 2014 made provision for the enhancement of our natural landscape by planting a total of 200,000 trees over a period of 2 years. The Ministry of Environment is responsible for the planting of a total of 150,000 trees across the island in 2014-2015. And Maurice Ildura, Commission, is responsible for planting the trees of the remaining 50,000 trees. Like I said, we have already planted more than 80,000 trees, which is well over the objective, and I'm sure that the objective will be met by the end of this year. Trees are the longest living organism on the planet and one of the Earth's greatest natural resources. Trees and forests provide humans with food, timber, fuel, wood pulp, and medicine, which also play a key role in recreation and ecotourism. They also keep our air supply clean, reduce air and noise pollution, improve water quality by filtering and absorbing impurities, help prevent erosion, slow storm waters runoff, act as a wind break in coastal areas, and makes our landscape beautiful. The importance of trees are various, and we should continue to encourage plantation of trees and preservation of the ecosystem environment. It is important that our future generation keep on planting trees, because the importance of trees have several benefits. For example, environmental benefits, social benefits, community benefits, and economic benefits as well, not to forget. This government, together with MID, will continue to give importance to environment, and I'm sure that with your collaboration we will meet our objective in before our mandate in 2020. Thank you.
My colleagues, the Honorable Joshua Raj Dayal, Minister of Environment, National Emergency Centre and Beach Authority, the Honorable Sudesh Satyam Kalichurn, Minister of Labour, Industrial Relations, Employment and Training, the Honorable Shalvaran Ramkon, Private Parliamentary Secretary, Mr. Sukal, President, Pamplemousses District Council, Mr. Jagu, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Environment, National Emergency Centre and Beach Authority, Mr. Ulas, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Agro-Industry and Food Security, Mr. Karan, Officer in Charge, SSR Botanical Garden, representatives of NGOs, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm pleased to be amongst you this morning for the tree planting ceremony organized jointly by the Ministry of Environment, National Emergency Centre and Beach Authority and my ministry. Today's ceremony marks the beginning of a new vision for a greener, safer and cleaner Mauritius, and here I must congratulate my colleague, the Honorable Raj Dayal, for this laudable initiative. Indeed, there could not have been a better way to start this new year 2015. We had announced in our electoral program that we would translate the Maurice Durable concept into action and protect our natural heritage and the environment. We will put in place a permanent program of reforestation to increase the forest cover. Today, the environment faces a number of threats and challenges and call for strong actions from the government and all the citizens of Mauritius. I must hasten to add that tree planting and reforestation have become a priority for many countries in the world. The United Nations, through its agencies, have urged governments to increase the area and the forest, as it has been reported that some 13 million hectares of tropical forests are destroyed each year, and area nearly twice the size of Belgium, or some 20 times the size of Mauritius. Continued deforestation has resulted in increased carbon emissions, shortages in water and food supply, and an unprecedented loss of biodiversity. As responsible citizens of the globe, it is our duty to protect our planet and its natural resources, and mainly our forest and biodiversity. Today's ceremony of tree planting is highly symbolical. Indeed, it is widely recognized that trees constitute an important component in the ecosystems as they act as natural filters of our air. They absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and release oxygen, thus helping in the global sequestration of carbon in the atmosphere. It is estimated that a mature tree absorbs some 20 to 25 kg of carbon dioxide in a year, and it produces some 14 kg of oxygen annually. Thus, nature has endowed us with a marvelous big biofactory that converts carbon dioxide, a greenhouse gas, into biomass, and more importantly, produces oxygen, which is vital for our living. It is a sink par excellence of carbon dioxide. We may not fully realize the significance of planting a tree. By planting one tree, we are making a valuable contribution to clean the air. Indeed, we are laying the foundation of an oxygen-producing industry that will help clean the atmosphere. Mauritius is classified as a biodiversity hotspot by the International Union for the Conservation of Nature and the Convention on Biological Diversity in view of its unique endemic fauna and flora. We need to put all our efforts together to encourage one and all to conserve and protect our rich biodiversity. The selected tree of today's tree planted ceremony, the Bois des Conges, is one among the endemic species which is classified as endangered and needs to be protected. I must also point out here that the two divisions of our ministry, namely the Forestry Service and the National Parks and Conservation Service, are doing a great job in maintaining our forest cover and the conservation of biodiversity. I understand that my ministry, through these two services, is collaborating closely with the Ministry of Environment for the propagation and supply of more than 200,000 plants for planting all around the island. However, I'm sure that much more still needs to be done in terms of sensitization and education, especially as our young children to understand the value and importance of trees. Let me reassure you that I will spare no means to put in place and implement our program of reforestation in the next 5 years. The legislation and policies will be reviewed in order to better control the felling of trees and encourage the population and owners of land to plant more trees to preserve our natural resources for the benefits of present and future generations of our country. Let me then conclude with a saying of Professor Wangari Maathai, who was awarded the Nobel Prize winner, Peace Prize, in 2004. And I quote, "When we planted trees, we planted seeds of peace and seeds of hope," unquote. Thank you. Thank you very much.
For the world to be a beautiful place, full of flowers, birds and trees. The future lies with nobody else. It depends on you and me. The time has come to plant more trees, make the air pollution free. Respect all life, the animals too, and
My colleagues, Honorable Mahen Kumar Siatan, Minister of Agro-Industry and Food Security, Honorable Sudesh Kalichern, Minister of Labour, Industrial Relations, Employment and Training, Honorable Ramkohan Shabanan, PPS, Honorable Tilakdari Kalidas, Member of the National Assembly, President of District Council of Pamplemousses, Mr. Dhiraj Sukar, Permanent Secretary, Minister of Agro-Industry and Food Security, Permanent Secretary, Minister of Environment, National Emergency Centre and Beach Authority, representatives of the private sector and NGOs, distinguished guests, my very dear children. It gives me much pleasure to address you this morning on the occasion of this symbolic tree planting ceremony organized by my ministry in collaboration with the Ministry of Agro-Industry and Food Security at the Sir Sivasagar Ranguram Botanical Garden. Allow me to quote the English philosopher, scientist and jurist Francis Bacon, who said, I quote, "The best part of beauty is that which no picture can express," unquote. This is what trees are all about. Yes, indeed, my message on the very first working day for the new year 2015 is a message of commitment, hard work and duty to nurture our environment for a prosperous, cleaner, greener and safer Mauritius. We take pride for the promises that we hold. This tree planting symbolizes optimism and a legacy for a better future. Ancestral ethos passed on from generations to generations, whereby it was inculcated that whenever a tree is felled down, it has to be replaced immediately, and this should be perpetuated as it is enshrined in our Environment Protection Act as an environment stewardship. This is a sense of responsibility and respect towards the ecosystem. At the same time, it is our pledge to restore the natural pristine beauty of Mauritius, our motherland. Ladies and gentlemen, more than ever, the country is facing many environmental challenges, be it the impact of climate change, flash floods, loss of our rich biodiversity, water and air pollution, wastage and inadequate use of resources such as energy and water, damage to our ecosystems, erosion of our beautiful beaches, irresponsible and unsustainable practices, indiscriminate littering and dumping of waste, and the list goes on. As we gather today, let us recognize that we are all at a crossroad and we need to pull together in the same direction by putting our energy and resources for the consolidation and progress by delivering results. Indeed, unless we reinforce our strategies to put the green into gross, we are in danger of repeating the mistakes of the past, which have led to a great extent to the current environmental degradation. We are devising the right strategies to avail of latent opportunities, and they are huge. We are taking bold and quick decisions to reverse the prevailing situations. To this, I make a special plea to the private sector and NGOs to establish meaningful partnerships with the government in mobilizing efforts on critical environmental issues. I'm sure that this prayer will be blessed. Ladies and gentlemen, as any small island developing state, Mauritius has fragile ecosystems, and just to name one, we are left with less than 2% of our native forests. At the global level, trees and forests are closely linked with weather patterns and also the maintenance of a crucial balance in nature. You will perhaps appreciate that if the temperature in Port Louis has not gone that much up today, is due to the fact that in the late 60s, a lot of tree planting was initiated in Port Louis. Had we sustained the campaign, a much better result would have been obtained. On and above, the tree is one of humankind's most powerful symbols. It is the embodiment of life in all its realms, the point of union between heaven, earth and water. In most ancient religious imagery, the tree was believed to have an abundance of divine creative energy. In short, trees represent abundance in all its form. Examples of trees in sacred texts are, in Hinduism, Bilwa or wood apple, also known as the bel tree, is associated with Lord Shiva. The banyan ficus indica is a sacred tree of immortality. It is also known in India as Shashti, the goddess of fertility. The peepal, Ficus religiosa, is extensively used in rituals. Its wood is used to light the yagna fire. Gautam Buddha and other saints achieve enlightenment under Jashoka. The modern customs of the Christmas tree has its source in Germanic tradition, as well as the traditional use of the palm tree and the olive tree. The tree of knowledge of Judaism and Christianity, and the Bodhi tree in Buddhism. The energy of trees can also positively influence our mental, emotional, and spiritual energy. Consider, for example, the peace and serenity people feel when they sit under a tree or walk through a forest. And what about the feelings of joy and excitement that children feel when they climb a tree? Let me also quote late Professor Wangari as my colleague, Matai, as my colleague did, whom you know became the first African woman in 2004, to receive the Nobel Peace Prize for a contribution to sustainable development, democracy and peace. I quote, "Until you dig a hole, you plant a tree, you water it and make it survive, you haven't done anything. You are just talking and goat." Today we are not only talking, my colleagues and myself, but stepping the talk with concrete measures. We all know that trees are the lungs of the planet. They provide oxygen and support life. Very important, they remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and store them through the photosynthesis process. They are therefore vital mitigating agents for climate change. They retain water and prevent erosion and flooding. The list of benefits of trees and forests is long. They are very much our investment for the future generations. We do not plant trees. If we do not plant trees, we will soon be living in a world that cannot sustain us. Hence, the task of environment protection is a universal responsibility for one and all. This tree planting today calls us to pay tribute to our unique natural flora and to our historical, rich biodiversity that we need to restore. I would like to highlight that for the purpose of today's tree planting, we have selected bois de ponce, which is an endemic and endangered plant. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a bitter truth that with urbanization and development, this country has experienced rapid deforestation and the loss of our pristine forests cover. We have an urgent task ahead. We have no other choice than to reverse the situation. We cannot forget the recent flooding episodes in Mauritius, which bear testimony of our vulnerability to natural disasters and the impacts of climate change. I recognize all efforts which have already been made by my ministry to plant trees for clean air and create mid forests across the island. The ongoing tree planting campaign has positively influenced the climatic flux based on land breezes. However, I'm happy to take the challenge to further increase our green canopy for greener, cleaner and safer Mauritius, with a special focus on restoring our endemic trees, which represent our unique natural flora and our historical rich biodiversity that we have inherited from God. It is my firm intention to complete the plantation of the remaining 70,000 trees by May 2015 instead of the set target of December 2015. This shows our commitment to be proactive about environmental issues. Let me end here by another quote from Nelson Anderson. I quote, "The true meaning of life is to plant trees under whose shade you do not expect to sit and go. However, we believe that when tomorrow the coming generations will benefit from the shade, it will remind them of the sacrifices made today by this generation under the leadership of the Honourable Prime Minister, Sir Anil Jagannath. And hopefully they'll be thankful to all of us. I thank you all for your kind attention."
Now's the time to care for